See, that's what happens when you get me on the show. I make it special. I bring everything. I make it rock. We got some hurricanes here. Look at that.
I don't know whether to be excited or offended that he's a better host on our own show.
Live life like a movie, my life a movie. Trick, why not? Trick, why not? Why not?
Welcome to another episode of the Brothers Perspective, Wrestler's Perspective. I'm your host, Ken E.G. Steele, infamous Kenny, with the host, Kenny. Did I get it? Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Was that on point?
The sad part is I'm going to have to copy that now. That's the sad part. I'm going to have to follow everything you just did.
Well, that's what you do. All the points and the...
Yeah.
Right? What's up? I'm your boy, ETCW, World Heavyweight Champion of the world, not the city, but the world. B to the C, the Jersey Jackass, and I am hosting Brothers Perspective because today's guest is the actual host of Brothers Perspective, Wrestler's Perspective, the MWPW Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Steele.
That was great.
That's a legit belt, bro.
That is, it is heavy, bro.
I know. I picked it up for a second. I was like, oh, that's a little much.
So, this has been requested for a while, and I figured what better time to do it than my 30th birthday. I was excited about this. I figured, I'll go ahead and do it. And trust me, there is not a better host than B to the C.
Those are facts.
And we have been wrestling for a while now. We have
like a decade now.
Nearly a decade. We have started together.
Mm-hmm.
So, for all those wondering, where's Kyle? He's in the back. Hello, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle.
But me and DC actually started wrestling together. So there's no one to hit me with the hard-hitting questions, the behind-the-scenes questions, the great facts of, well, whatever this is. Wrestling, Kenny Steele.
Wrestler's Perspective.
Exactly. Better perspective.
Well, today, right now, while we're recording, I got something special. That's why there's a table here. There's not normally a table here. Is there normally a table here?
There's not
normally a table here. But I have something special because you know what today is, Kenny?
What's today?
You don't know what today is?
No.
Today, as this recording, is Mardi Gras. It's Mardi Gras. Today. I was supposed to be in New Orleans. I'm not. So I'm bringing New Orleans to Wrestler's Perspective. Now, I got a little gift because you can't have Mardi Gras without some king cake.
Oh, wow.
So, I got us a little bit of some king cake.
Oh, God, like a fat.
Look, you got the baby, got all the stuff here.
Wow.
We're going to have some king cake. And don't worry, Kenny. Got you some beads, too. Got you some beads.
This is going to hurt soon.
I got me some beads. Okay, go ahead, spin it.
All right, that's cool.
Yep, show booty. Gotta show the booty, Kenny. But that's not all.
Oh, God.
That's not all, Kenny.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's right. I got us some hurricanes.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow. We are doing it big.
We're doing it big.
Now every guest I have is going to be like, where's the drinks and the cake?
I'm not going to lie to you either. Go ahead, take a sip. That's some strong stuff.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's okay. We're safe in the studio. So,
way to celebrate.
All right, what was I saying? Kenny, we started a decade ago, bro.
Yeah, dude.
At MPX.
Yeah, dude.
I remember when I first showed up there, I was just in the audience, and I was watching these wrestlers. I was like, okay, there's some wrestlers. Not many of them are in too good a shape. Some of them are kind of small. But look at that security guard over there. That dude is jacked. You know who the security guard was? Kenny Steele.
Oh, God, I remember that. It was so fun.
That was the first show that Genesis came in.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
How long had you been training before that?
I think I started that July. Because I think it was a little bit after Frankie made a joke about Father's Day. And it was I think it was around that time. And I want to say it was July. And it was so weird, man. I moved to Texas. I told my mom I was going to be a wrestler. She was just like, all right, whatever, follow your dreams.
Yeah, sure. That's what my mom said. Mom, I'm going to be a wrestler. Okay, DC.
Okay, sure, right?
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
That's the typical thing. And I moved here, and I just remember looking for wrestling schools, and that was like on my mind for like almost like a year. And I was just trying to find whatever I can. And I actually found Killer Tim Brooks' school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy who helped train, Barrett and Joey, helped, Doberman and a lot of the guys in the area. I'm leaving out a lot of names. Trust me, he trained a lot of guys. But for whatever reason, I had transportation issues. I couldn't get out there at the time. So I still just saved up, did whatever I could, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this wrestling school. It's going to be dope. And then I was working, and I always had Pro Wrestling, I want to say Pro Wrestling Illustrated, or is PWI Inside? I forget because it's foggy. I don't read it anymore. But I always used to have that magazine. They always have, top wrestlers, where guys are wrestling, so on and so forth. And I read it religiously, man. Like it was a Bible. So I would just always just read. I tried to watch everything I could. At times it was just like work, gym, wrestling.
You read all the books.
I did. I read all the books.
He read all the books.
I did read a lot of books.
Yo, real time, we used to go on road trips, and he'd be reading like Jericho's book or The Rock's book or someone's book, and he'd run inside. We'd stop to get gas. He'd run inside to get something to eat or something, and me and my tag partner Zach would grab his book and change the bookmark to a new spot. And then he'd get in the car and just keep reading like nothing happened. So I don't know if Kenny can actually read, or if maybe he just don't retain the information. I don't know. He never said anything about it, ever.
I have a religiously bad habit of just always losing my place in books. So I always try to remember the page number. So if I mess it up, and I was like, oh, I wasn't in this page. And I would just flip back. And I was like, that was the page number. Okay, cool. And then I would just start right back where I left off. I've always been terrible with that. So I started. You guys are asses. I started, just kind of just looking around and stuff and trying to see if there's any other schools because I couldn't go to Killers. So I ended up working with James Hawk's wife.
Okay.
And she saw me reading that stuff all the time. And she goes, hey, like my boyfriend, they weren't married at that time. She's like, my boyfriend does that. And I was like, what, wrestling? It was like, finally I found the light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, wrestling? This is great. Where? And, she kind of gave me the information and everything. She was like, yeah, I'll kind of give you, I'll give you his stuff and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. And she passes me an MPX flyer. One of the original MPX flyers with everybody at the bottom and Hawk doing his little thing and all this other stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and check this out. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I called Steven because they were at one Metroplex gym, or Metroflex gym, I'm sorry. They're at one Metroflex gym and they had to move to another one. So luckily enough for me, that Metroflex gym was closer.
Okay.
Closer to me. So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up driving there, and you just start getting the visions, right? Like, this is it. This is where I started. This is like how Randy Orton started and Lance Storm, and I was like, this is, I'll see them, but they all just had to take that drive and go to this venue. This is gonna be great. We'll be a superstar, bro. It's gonna be so awesome. The dream starts here. And I get to this gym, and again, it's so funny, I'm sorry. Again, you get there and there's the Metroflex gym, and you know how David was. David had all those bodybuilders there. Mm-hmm. And it's all the jack dudes and lifting, and they're all doing it. They're listening to the rock music. The garage doors open, there's music going out. It's hot. It's like Texas heat coming down. Yeah. Like I'm in a tank top and basketball shorts. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to work out. I'm going to get it in. I was like, still a huge gym rat. Man, I go in there and I look at all these bodybuilders. I was like, great. All right, it's like, cool. Are these guys wrestling? No, they're lifting. Are those guys wrestling? No, that guy's squatting. Is that guy wrestling? No, he's doing pull-ups. Okay, cool. Where's the wrestlers? And I turn around, and it's the most biggest recess, Walmart, playground, substitute teacher, just group of guys I have ever seen in my life. And then they come up to me, and I was like, oh, this guy's showing up to wrestle. And I was the only jack dude in the room. Granted, Payday wasn't there that day, but I was just like, I thought this was wrestling.
I do remember, starting out, even when I started out at MPX, I wasn't in no shape neither.
Oh, God.
None of us were in shape. We just said, you know what, let's go do this.
Well, except me. I was the skinniest kid in the room.
Yeah, of course you.
Very nice.
All right, so you show up to MPX, you're in shape. What was day one like?
Day one was it was really just it was more gathering of information. So I mean, give credit to Kirby. Kirby's a smart cat. He's not just letting anybody just get in there and just, do some stuff and kind of be unsafe and just kind of go. So he wanted to make sure I had my head on straight. He let us know what it was. He let me know what the company was. He kept everything very level. Yeah. And he was very honest with me. So that was cool. I always respected that about Kirby. And I kind of just watched some of the guys, talk to some guys, and just, you just learn. You just sit there and learn. And I didn't take a bump yet. Yeah. Not yet. But I got to talk to, Andrews. I got to talk to Greg. For y'all, Isaiah James.
Headbanger Gregory James! He's too much metal!
He's been Greg my entire life. I'm sorry.
He'll forever be Greg. He'll forever be Greg. Headbanger Gregory James!
Just like
too much metal.
Just like Ember Moon will forever be Athena to me. I can never call her.
I wouldn't call her Adrian.
Yeah, half the time I'm like, oh, you mean Adrian? We're like, Ember Moon, you mean Adrian? I didn't really get to bump until I think maybe a week or so later. And that's when I realized, oh, wow, that's what they meant by it hurts. And of course, I'm naturally slew-footed, uncoordinated as I could possibly be. So I mean, and I'm clumsy. So that bit kind of helped, because I'm such a klutz. I'm like, oh, you just kind of fall down. They showed me a little methods. Try this may be easier. Try this, that may be easier. And slowly but surely, I kind of just got it. It hurt like hell.
Oh yeah.
I definitely like drove home, and when I got out the car, I was limping and my shoulders are slouched, and I'm dragging myself into my parents' place and going.
Was this a good idea?
I know, right? Oh my god.
I remember day one for me. I was puking. Because Hayden had us running, bro. Yeah. And I had been up till 4 drinking the night before. So probably wasn't the smartest idea.
It was like those memories are so great because it was just, we weren't really like wrestlers yet, but we're just like this, we're almost kind of just like a small fraternity. Like a small fraternity that wanted to be wrestlers. We were just tight-knit, brotherhood, very family-oriented.
Because no one liked us.
No one liked us.
We were the butt of everyone's jokes. They're like, oh, these guys are fake. They're not real wrestlers. They didn't get in the business the way we did. And that's true. We did not. I think through perseverance, we've really kind of built a good reputation. Look at what NPX has been able to do now.
Yeah. And everything, starts from the ground up. And I think where NPX started and definitely what NPX has become is almost like night and day. Of course, it wasn't an overnight success at all, but we had so much energy. That's why I had to say that first. So much energy, so much passion. Everything was just fun, man. Me, you, Seth, Lucha, Zach, Payday, Hawk, Arcane, Hayden, Frankie, Andrews, Greg, and then Gigolo came along, and then Tadlock was there, Ben Wild, and then Palmer came and started doing his thing, and then Mike Fox came along. It was just,
and it slowly just started to grow and grow.
It got insane, man. It kind of just developed this life of its own, bro. And that's one thing I've always kind of been happy about is that we were the guys who didn't belong, we were the guys who were untrained, we were the guys who just got shit on all the damn time. We kind of all just kind of made a name for ourselves and made our own path, and that's what I've always kind of thought was dope. You always gotta start somewhere.
So when you first started building the character, Kenny Steele was from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I forgot that it was Pittsburgh.
Where did that come from?
Kirby. Oh, so I gotta know first if we're gonna really do it. I have to tell this story.
Okay.
So my father is a bit of a jokester. Where do I get that from, right? And my father just has this thing. I don't know what it is, but he's given me my birth name. What I'm saying? My shoot, Kenneth Wayne name. That's it. So he just got this idea, and he does this thing where he'll just mispronounce my name. Sir Kensington, Ken Bird, Ken Cavius, Kenalulu, anything you can think of, right? So he has this thing where he used to call me Kensington Steele or Sir Kensington Steele and all kinds of goofy shit, right? So Kirby tells me to come up with a name. And I just start writing names that I think are cool, right? Such and such, such and such, such. And I had I had a list. Maybe I say maybe around at least anywhere from 20 to 30 names. I give it to him and all this other stuff. But before that, my father goes, hey, why don't you write down Kenny Steele? And I'm like, no, Dad, that's ridiculous. You already called me Kensington Steele. This is stupid. And he's like, no, man, but Kenny Steele sounds, tough, like, Kenny Steele. And I was like, that's the most ridiculous name ever. I was like, fine, all right, whatever. After bugging, I'll do it. So I just wrote the name down. So then I just write down the rest of my names, right? The other 10. So I go ahead, I get this paper, I give it to Kirby. I was like, these are all names I think are cool, like, or at least maybe stand out or whatever. And he goes down the list, and he goes down the list. He's like, of course, because it's at the bottom. That Kenny Steele.
Boom.
That sounds cool. And I literally, straight face, go, you gotta be fucking shitting me. He's like, no, man, it sounds really cool, man. Like, that's a cool name. Like, oh, God. Shit. Okay, all right, fine, whatever. And then, of course, I go home. And my dad's like, yo, hey. So he's all excited and shit, right? He's like, hey, did they pick your name yet? He's like, and I was like, yeah. He said, what'd they pick? Kenny Steele. And of course, he gets the biggest shit-eating girl. I look like my father, so it's the exact same face. The biggest shit-eating. And then, to add insult to injury, up top, dog. That's what I'm talking about. Give me some. My man, Kenny Steele. Till this day, dude.
So where did Pittsburgh come from?
I don't know. I think it was the whole Steele, the Steelers, that kind of thing.
All right. Do you remember your first match?
Yes, it was against Ben Wild.
Where was it?
And it was at the old Metroflex gym.
Was it at an actual MPX show?
Yeah, it was at an actual
My first
show.
match was actually at a birthday show.
Oh, no. My first match was at, I want to say it was like November 2011, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember because I was like, I kept worrying because I was like, man, they're not going to like debut me before the big show. I was like, I hope I get on this card, right? So Kirby kind of talked it. Of course, me and Ben, we went over our match and we kind of, we kind of did our, we did our stuff. Of course, we're both super, super great.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't deserve, really didn't need to be in the ring right now, but we had passion and moxie, so we're going to do it. And we worked on it.
Passion and moxie. That's what you got to have.
And we worked on it and all this other stuff. And I think by the time the show came out, I was nervous, but like I was more excited than anything else. Because it was kind of one of those things like, you just got that rise to the challenge kind of thing. You're ready. Like you have to tone the Rose Bowl. Like this is what we play for. I had that feeling. So I was like, oh, let's fucking do it. Let's go. And it went fairly well. It's not only because we worked on it like 1,000 damn times. Yeah. It's not it's not terrible. Everybody goes, oh, what's the first match? Oh, it's so terrible. And I should have such and such. So it's not really terrible because I worked on it for so long. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I can see why I kind of did this. Okay. But no, I had a lot of fun. And surprisingly, I went over. That rarely happens with anybody's first match. Oh, yeah. But they tried to establish me as a player, and I appreciated that. So I was like, okay, cool. This should work out. So that always worked out.
When did you really figure out, like, every wrestler has that moment where it clicks, and now you get it. Mm-hmm. How long did it take from that first match to when it really kind of clicked in your head, and you're like, oh, I can do this?
It's kind of hard, because I remember going from being, like, really good. So, of course, you're always young, so when you're, like, really good, then you get cocky, then you get sloppy, you get the Randy Orton deal. Like, they gave me everything. I was young, I was athletic, I was, super good looking. Now I'm really good looking, so it's a whole different level. Yeah. You kind of like, oh, I got this, and they put me in the main event and all this other stuff. I was kind of an attraction at that time, but then you had guys who can actually wrestle, and guys who are actually better than you. So it went from me being that guy to kind of humbling me real quick. And I don't think it was a necessarily moment where I knew, like, I got it. I think I had to leave MPX to realize, like, what I could really do and to make sure, like, I was getting the same reaction elsewhere. In the first place, I think I did that was, I want to say, like, CWF or something like that. I think it was, like, out in Marshall. It was, like, this old place. They of course, don't run anymore. But it was when I started working with Lamont and Big Sid. Yeah, we're a certified currency gang. And at first, I don't know if we were supposed to be together or not. My memory's kind of fuzzy on that. But I remember me and Payday coming in, and that's when we first started doing Steel Money Industries. And I remember we worked it out at League of Lions. We worked a couple of matches at MPX, but that kind of ended up kind of fizzling out. We did some stuff at VIP. And I remember before that, when I went to this promotion, I was just brand new, but we still had a look. We had the boots, we had, you know what I'm saying, we had the kick pads, we had the elbow, you know, the trunks, the look, the build, everything. And I just remember getting this insane reaction when we went out. We were heels, but we got this insane reaction. And people just started losing their minds. And it was that moment where I realized I was kind of like, okay, I can really do this. Mm-hmm. I was like, beforehand, everything was just kind of given to me and kind of just given to me. And now, like, I got to work and prove against other guys. And they, again, like, I was on a card with Lou. I was on a card with Ced. I was on a card with Nobi Bryant, Fuego, Jerome, you know, like, so it's like, you know, I was on there with some players. Yeah. So I had to hold my own, and I did it. So that was kind of one of the things where I was just kind of like, okay, I think I got this. I think I know the right way to go.
So you bring up Steele Money Industries, and that's something that I really have always remembered. I loved, like, you, me, and Payday had such a great like behind the scenes chemistry. Yeah. We were always so good together. What brought that? Because you guys feuded a lot and then became a team. Yeah. You know, what was that all like, being able to build that team?
We at first when we started up, that was my first like no, I take that back. I can't remember. It's a little fuzzy. I can't remember if Palmer was my first actual big feud or if Payday was. I want to say it was Payday. But I remember Payday being my first feud. I remember meeting them. And I just remembered, you know, I was like, kind of like, oh, thank God there's another athlete here. Because everybody was, to the degree, they were out of shape and they were just making it. You know, guys were getting gassed and all this other stuff. And I needed somebody that can kind of go with me. And it was at the time, he was like, you know, he wrestled like Ray, and I kind of wrestled like a powerhouse, even though I was smaller and I should not have been wrestling like a powerhouse. But we were both really athletic, so we could just go. And he just has this thing where he comes out and he's the party guy. Everybody loves him. He's kind of Montez Ford-esque, if anybody want to recognize that. But he's like, he comes out and people just go crazy. It's Payday. Oh God, this and that, you know. So I was like, I can't get him to like me. I'll be a prick. And to be fair, I'm very good at antagonizing people and annoying people.
Facts.
So that just went right up my alley. I don't know if it was me or it was him, but it was like, yo, I think it was him. It's like, yo, this would be like a dope tag team.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we're not Eddie and Ray. Have our relationship is kind of in my mind like Eddie and Ray.
Okay.
Kind of how they had that friendship. They were great as a tag team. They were great as rivals. And they would just go all out. And I tried to do the same thing. We tried to emulate a lot of Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero. Now, granted, we did it poorly, but we tried to emulate a lot of that. And to be fair, I think a lot of people were always entertained because we're great athletes. I think that worked out.
So, Steele Money Industries goes on, and y'all get a lot of fame. And we kind of mutated it into one of my favorite things that we have ever done, which didn't last very long.
It was great.
But the Hip Hop Express. Where did that come from?
Lamont, because we wanted to be Steele Money Industries, but he wanted to, I believe he wanted to add Baby D, he wanted to add Stacey Carpenter to the group, because, you know, she does the dancing and the twerking thing. And I was talking to him, and I love Stacey to death, she's great. But Payday's really, you know, he's kind of on the shy side sometimes. Yeah. Great athlete, he can wrestle, but he's kind of on the shy side. I really, as much as I talk, I really didn't find my voice yet. So I was just kind of like, and then he kind of mentioned you, and I was like, I think I think it worked because I was like, we need a heavy and a mouthpiece. Mm-hmm. So I was like, even though you were bigger than both of us, I was like, it was, you know, it was a double-edged sword. We would get to talk less. You would hype us up, great hype man. And if we ever needed any muscle, you'll come in and, you know, just kind of tear that down. That was the idea. Now it's short-lived and it didn't go to its fruition, but we had so much fun.
It was.
Just being ridiculous. And I think that was the best part about it, because we could just go outside the lines and just do whatever. And that was fantastic. I thought that was a lot of fun.
It was. It was a lot. It was a blast. And I think it was one of those moments in wrestling that I'm always going to remember. So I knew going through that curtain was going to be entertaining. No matter what, we were going to be entertaining.
Like, Payday's a great dancer. I'm a terrible dancer. But we were great talkers and we hype him up and all this other stuff, man. It was just fantastic.
So it ends up short-lived because Payday kind of wants to go do his own thing.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be just you and me until something else blows up in Texas. And that's the Dot Mob.
Oh, yeah.
Take me through how the Dot Mob got so big so quick.
The ideal behind that was we were just kind of like, all right, well, let's just blow this out the water.
Yeah.
Like, we're already, all of us, friends, and, you know, backstage. We always hung out. We always drove together. We always talked with one another. We're all into the same things, sports and, you know, wrestling and, you know, listen to the same type of music and all that jazz. And Dante and Ty, to their credit, it's really weird. They're the most two identical strangers I've ever met in my life. I always kind of joke with them about it, but it's really uncanny. Like, they finish each other's sentences. Like, that's how good of a tag team they are. And, you know, Jerome has always just, you know, been that guy. He's always, you know, been, like, you know, extremely talented. He can always draw a crowd. He can always turn it up, or, you know what I'm saying? It was always great. And me, I was kind of just, you know, the muscle. And my first idea, too, I was like, yo, this would be, like, the greatest, like, you know, just, you know, like, team, you know, like the Warriors, you know, Evolution and all this other stuff. I was like, bro, we can just kick ass, take names, and this would be great. And it was mostly about, you know, bonding and networking too. You know, at least trying to, you know, like, you know, work together, you know, play as a team, be a team. And it just, I knew it was gonna be big. I had no idea it was gonna be such a wildfire. Yeah. Like, that was the craziest thing in the world.
So as the Dot Mom's taken off, you are at the top of MPX.
Yeah.
You're MPX champion.
Yeah.
And you kind of decided to step away from MPX.
Yeah.
How did that really come about?
That for me was kind of just betting on myself. Like you said, I read a lot of, you know, wrestling stuff. I study wrestling. I study the game as much as I possibly can. And it comes at some point where you have to bet on yourself. And from day one, from, you know, that November, you know, 2011, like, my goal was to be MPX champion. Like, I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the face of the company. I'm going to represent the company. But it was just like I found my footing. I knew who I was. I knew what I was. So by the time I knew what I was, I knew I wanted to take it national. I was like, I've got to, you know, I was like, at some point, the birds got to leave the nest. You got to leave home. And I was grateful to everything Kirby gave me, grateful to everything Richard gave me, because they didn't owe me anything. I bust my ass to get to where I was. I bust my ass to do what I did, and they believed in me and gave me the ball, and they ran with it. And trust me, like, that meant everything to me, absolutely everything. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I was like, if you know who you are now, and you know what you are now, and you're confident in your talent now, why wait?
Yeah.
You got to strike while the iron's hot. You got to go for it. And that's like when I actually started to perform outside of Texas. That's when I actually started doing more shows outside of the state. And really, like, I've done shows before, like here and there, but it started to be more of a normal thing. And since it started being a normal thing, then, like, I really started to find out what I can do with different talents I can work with. And I really, you know, it was kind of like, again, like how I was at CWF so many years ago. It was like, you know, I have the ball. I know how to move with it now. And that's an experience that you just can't take away.
Yeah.
So I needed to do that then, and it's been hot ever since.
As y'all are doing that, you're splitting up, you're going all around, not just in Texas, but all over. You have your own shows that you put together, the cookouts.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Honestly, man, all Dante. Dude, Dante is the most go-get-it, most persistent dude I have, like, ever met in my life. Like, I mean, it's so funny to be inspired by a peer so much. Like, but it's the craziest thing. It's like everything he's ever wanted to do, everything he's ever thought of doing, anything he's, you know, ever accomplished. It just all started with that thought process. And he's like, all right, go do it. And it's even like this with this show and me doing other things. I was like, yeah, man, I think I can do this. He was like, that's great. Go do it. I was like, yeah. It's like, I think you can do it. Yeah, sure, go for it. And I guess just kind of having that friendship with him and being around him and seeing him, being like, dude, I'm going to do a cookout. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's great. He said, look, we need this, and this. And I was like, wow. And then it just happened. After seeing somebody just go get it like that, it inspires you. It inspires you to be better, you know, go get it. It lets you know, like, any thought you can make a reality if you just go, you know, and do it. So it's like, yeah, okay.
And speaking of making things reality, as the Dot Mob has grown, you know, you've added Reza, you've added Nate Collins, and, you know, we're still working on Dot Mob and BC.
That's hilarious.
It's Jerome's favorite. So, but you kind of started branching out away on your own as well.
Yeah.
And you started building your own without them, just by yourself. Infamous Kenny Steele became his own thing.
Yeah.
What was that like? Like going to NWPW, going up to Detroit all the time now, all the different things you're doing there.
It was just betting on myself. You know, you don't want any regrets.
No.
And I kept telling myself, and of course, you know, we all have our insecurities, we all have our doubts, we all have life that happens to us constantly. And it's just like, no, if you're focused on this thing and you want this thing, you have to go get it. Only you are going to create this opportunity. Only you are going to create these moments. And it's like, do you want to live being like, I could have did that a little better.
Yeah.
I should have did that. And I have a few of those, sure, but I want to make sure that I'm getting the most of what I can now with the skill set and the knowledge I have now to be like, you know what, like I was, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be, you know, happy and like, nope, I was exactly where I should have been.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of, you know, if it's to great heights, great. If it's, you know, training the next generation, great. If it's inspiring the next kid, which happens all the time.
So, you know, what about outside of wrestling? What else do you do outside of just wrestling? Because there's a lot more to you.
Yeah. I have this lovely show. I'm, you know, a film enthusiast, you know, I love comics, of course, you know, I'm a gym nut. All I do is just work out and just try to have protein shakes all the time.
Now, do you actually like the gym, or do you go to the gym because we have to as wrestlers?
My father was in the military, my uncle was in the military, and they've always been gym rats and just worked out. When I was growing up, my mom always did the Taibo and, you know what I'm saying, and the little step-up dances and all the Zumba stuff. So just, you know, we've always had weights downstairs.
Yeah.
We always had pull-up bars and, you know, the little push-up little sets and stuff. So my dad kind of got me doing that. You know, there's a little bit of narcissism in there because then you lift and you're just like, oh yeah.
See,
yeah.
now I get those same feelings. Like, I hate when I don't go to the gym. It kills me. But I also hate to go to the gym because everything there is so heavy.
I love the gym.
Oh, God.
I would tell my gym coach, I was like, look, I can't hoop. I'm uncoordinated. I got slew feet. Can I just go downstairs and work out? She's like, yeah, sure. And that was just that love from there. And it just went out. Plus the women go, ooh, you look good. And I was like, do I? Do I? Well, maybe this thing might work out.
He looks good because I work out and then eat cake. So, what does the future hold for Kenny Steele?
I believe it's just right in the next chapter. I know I'm going to be wrestling for sure. I know I'll keep this show for sure. But my main goal is just really just to, you know, test my limits, see how far I can go, see how good I actually am. You know, be everything I know I can be everything that I say I am. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all in here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to believe it but you. You know, if, you know, you prove it to yourself that you can do what you say you're going to do. I think that's really just the ultimate test. You know what I'm saying? So it's that. It's you know, and of course, like, I want to hand and help, you know, building the next generation, man. Like, it's so crazy, dude. And my mom, who never really liked wrestling, is now actually a fan. She's like, oh yeah, what's your next match? Okay, what's your show? And she actually grades wrestlers. She judging folks. She's been to a couple of shows. She's like, they're not like those guys back there. They need to really tighten it up. And the cool part is, what I'm really most proud of, you know, more than the accolades, more than the championships and everything else, man, is the fact that, like, I was the little boy who watched too much wrestling. Now my family comes to shows, and it's just like they enjoy it with me. But yeah,
Kenny, we could go on and on for hours.
I wanted to.
Like we normally do.
I wanted this to be a mini-series. Can we do episode 2? Let's do episode 2.
Your next birthday.
Right.
Where can they find you, Kenny?
You can find me, of course, on the social medias at Kenny Steele on Facebook and KenDog313. That's right, new KenDog313 on Instagram and Twitter. I do it for those Michigan folks.
That's right. You can follow me on all social media at RealJackassBC, RealJackassBC. Hey, hit the little subscribe button. There's a button right down here. Click the subscribe button. Click the little bell so you can get notified for all of the Brothers Perspective videos. And don't forget to leave a comment and give this video a thumbs up. Kenny, thank you so much for letting me come over here and interview you. It's always a blast. It's always fun hanging out with you.
It's always fun.
I am proud of everything that we've done together.
Yes.
I'm proud of everything you've accomplished on your own. I'm so excited to see what's next for you. You will always be one of my brothers. You will always be family to me. We got to get Infamous Jackasses some more love somewhere.
We do. It's going to be great.
Maybe we can get that up in Detroit a little bit here and there.
Exactly. Book us. We're fantastic.
Facts. I wish I could find the damn match from Championship Wrestling in Arizona.
Oh, God.
I still can't find it.
We met Chris Bay. He likes us. Well, Chris Band proved. I hope he watches it.
So, until next time, I don't know how he signs out, but brothers, perspective.
Live life like a movie, my life a movie. Trick, why not? Trick, why not? Why not?